was clean.
And speaking of exciting, DiegoB, xPedro15. Here we go. Here we go. What is it that separates a player of serial caliber versus a regular player at 6K? I'd say consistency, deck versatility, and the ability to perform on a live stage. I think those are the biggest things that separate the top 1% from the top 5%. Losers bracket winners are not out. That's exactly what I was just talking about, guys. So I was just showing the bracket there. St. Pelican's going to move on to play the winner of this best of 5 here. The loser of this best of 5 will go on to play Benzer Rydell, and Michifu will be playing Deep Ryan in BO3s moving forward. My PB, it's like 64 something. So here we go. Minor Poison Control made popular, or by Igor at World Finals. This is a deck that people have kind of fell in love with as soon as we saw him play it. And then Diego playing Logbait, the Prince Rascals version. I'm actually gonna leave, and actually no, I don't need to leave and rejoin. You guys can figure out what the cards are. So getting a lot of nice chip damage in with that aggressive Princess at the river. Dark Goblin comes in, will clean up the Hunter, and will demand a response or get a couple shots. Ice Golem comes down a second too early, so Dark Goblin once again. This is why the Dark Goblin is one of my favorite cards in the game. It can get so much value out of your opponent if they misplay anything. Even if you misplay bats up high, if you misplay skeletons up high, and the Dark Goblin already locks on, there's just small mental mistakes that the Dark Goblin creates by how quick it is and how fast he shoots, and that is exactly right there. That is exactly right there what, sorry, I was trying to read the chat, what Diego was going for with that Dark Goblin. Really nice pickup there with the Goblin Gang to protect that princess. You always want to protect your princess if you're playing Logbait, and right now Pedro making it pretty easy in the sense of pretty predictive plays with trying to pick up the princess, so he's going to have to kind of change up or change up the way that he's taking those off the board. So nice there again with the Goblins picking up that Bandit charge, keeping it off of the Prince. Prince can just a little bit more value. And a Tricky Barrel goes far back behind the tower. And now with that Snowball, he demands another card to come out. Bandit will catch the Prince on the front end of it. But wow, that was really close. You could not take that Prince charge. So Bandit comes down, Rascal's up high, Prince in the back to catch the Miner. Now you've got the Prince that's going to put the Rascal Boy on skates if he gets up there in time. A lot of pressure coming down the lane, and of course Princess in the opposite side. Hunter to the back, Tricky Barrel not going to pay off, but the Rascal Boy almost connecting to the tower. And again, you've got the Princess in the opposite lane, just pulling so much attention from Pedro. Diego doing the correct thing here, ignoring that Bandit, going to double down on offense. That's the worst feeling for Pedro when you send your Miner right into your opponent's unit, especially when it's down to this close of a game. Princess up high to get those bats off of the Prince, and Princess still protected. Fireball comes in, no Bandit to pick up the Princess yet. There's the Bandit. Will Goblins come down? No, they do not. Just a second late on the pickup with the Rascals. Goblins to the back. Goblins pick up the Miner on the back. 376 remains. Still not quite close enough to get within spell cycle range. A great pickup with that Ice Golem, expecting the aggressive Princess at the river. Log comes down, so you know the Goblin Barrel has to come down, plus the Snowball, and that was so well played. Would have been ended, or probably would have ended even a little bit sooner had DiegoB not thrown Tricky Barrels when the Log was out of cycle. He did the correct thing at the end there, where he threw the Tricky Barrel, or he threw the regular barrel right on top of the tower, knowing Log was out of cycle, knowing that there was no way for Pedro to clear all the units off the board immediately. So you follow that up with an immediate Snowball, and you're going to at least get 2 sets of hits from those Goblins, which is a ton of damage. So really well played, and remember to keep that in mind if you guys are playing Logbait at home. Game 2. So Mini P.E.K.K.A comes out. A lot of times when you see Mini P.E.K.K.A, you have to assume it's going to be partnered with Princess, but we've also seen Mini P.E.K.K.A with Golem. This, and I think we even saw it with Lava Hound yesterday. So a lot of potential for decks out there. Pedro not happy about something. Probably that hit that his Bandit just took in. So obviously demands less of a response. And now we'll see if DiegoB decides to support this Ice Golem with something cheap. Yes, he does. Bats in behind. Ice Spirit takes out almost all of the bats. Miner into the front of the tower, knowing that NATO is not in Pedro's hand. So Inferno comes out. And cycle the Mini P.E.K.K.A in the back. You have to imagine that he's going to want to drop something in front of the Mini P.E.K.K.A to soak up that charge from the Bandit. There he goes. Ice Golem takes the Bandit off the board. Bats to the back. Now all of a sudden you got a really cheap but very, very strong push coming in the right-hand lane. Speaking of strong, decides to support it with the Balloon. Mini P.E.K.K.A in behind, going to get on top of that Hunter, but that was about as clean as it gets defensively. Gets a couple bat hits in, but really the damage was about what happened on the left-hand side, so really well managed by Pedro, but Diego putting together some great, great offenses here early on. And it is not Minor Princess, as you can see. SK's Ras with 30 bits. Thank you so much, my friend, for the support. Thank you for being a sub, and just know those emotes are coming your way really, really soon. Really, really soon. So, a nice cheap push there. A bit unfortunate, though, that the bats are going to get eaten alive by that Ice Golem, but all of a sudden you got a Mini P.E.K.K.A getting tanked for by a Barb, and oh! Whoo! He almost got his pancakes. He almost got his pancakes from that Princess Tower. So right now, it's just the battle of the minor cycle coming out from these guys. Not a lot of damage has come in from the Balloon, and maybe that's something that DiegoB has to start utilizing a little bit more, is the Balloon. So now we see it coming out. Got to expect the Hunter. He goes right behind the Hunter with the Miner, but unfortunately, the Miner turns the Hunter around, so it continues to face the Balloon. Not exactly what Diego wanted, but a great, great zap from Diego, giving just enough room to drop that second Balloon drop, and of course, what a great orchestration of that offense. He put it together perfectly. That Miner gets in behind the Hunter. Kind of works in his favor because it distracts for a little bit in the sense of getting damage on, but turns the Hunter around to get some of that spray or that splash damage onto his Balloon. Did not matter. Balloon still breaks through, and DiegoB up 2-0 against Pedro, who looked unstoppable thus far against. I mean, Giant Triple Spell is super annoying. Golem, all the Golem, like Golem, NATO Poison, or Golem, NATO Lightning are brutal with Baby Dragon. Those are honestly probably my least favorite matchups. Or RG Triple Spell, which I've run into more and more. What was it like to live and work as a caster for CRL? I'll talk about that as soon as this ends. So maybe going to see an Inferno Dragon as well in this deck out of Pedro. Get some nice damage in there, and one of the biggest things we've seen in this tournament is the value of Graveyard plus Snowball and that space that it creates, slowing the Princess Tower just enough to let those skeletons pile up and get a great amount of damage in. So DiegoB off to kind of a rough start in the sense of Pedro getting a ton of damage, about 1,000 damage in already on that right-hand tower of his. Yeah, this deck Pedro's playing is very, very strong. We've seen Poison or Freeze in that spot, and then, you know, in the last spot we've seen Inferno Dragon a good amount. It's just beefy. It cycles real quick, and when you get into that double and triple elixir time, it's so difficult for your opponent to keep up with the graveyards coming down. Luckily for Diego, he does have a good amount of splash damage in the Baby Dragon and the E-Wiz, and of course, he will be able to catch probably every other graveyard with his poison, unless he starts to need those poisons offensively. So, let's just see what happens. So, nice use of the bomb tower there. Going to get some nice splash damage on that E-Wiz. E-Wiz should maybe, yeah, does not get one hit on the tower. Pedro resets in the back of the Musketeer, and Diego is aggressive up front. Now Pedro does not have his Snowball for defense. He obviously does have his Poison. Poison now out of cycle for DiegoB if Pedro decides to go offensive with a graveyard here on this counter push. Maybe a little early on that Night Witch. So now Skeleton's taking for the Bats. Bats taking out that bomb tower. And Snowball, again, creating just enough space, demanding more out of Diego, and I think Diego's got to figure out how to play those defenses just a little bit more efficiently. Maybe save one of the cards and play the E-Wiz sooner. Not 100% sure, but he's overspending on defense. Now you see, again, Pedro up with the Elixir advantage. Faster cycle, gets that graveyard back down. Snowball's going to come in, slow all those units around that tower, and again, so much being dropped. The Bar Barrel, the E-Wiz, and the Mega Minion, and still tower damage comes in for Pedro. So E-Wiz going to survive. Get maybe one hit. Does not. Night Witch comes down just in time. Night Witch going to get cleaned up right away by the Mega Minion plus the Baby Dragon. But both those units played up high means he's got to drop 2 units down low. There you go. Bar Barrel plus the E-Wiz. E-Wiz has to come down. Every single time that Snowball comes in, you have to drop that E-Wiz. 456 remains against 1268. DiegoB going to sell out right now. Everything at the river. The battle at the river. This still is winnable, because we've all seen Graveyard do this many, many times before. Poison comes down. Ice Golem taken for that E-Wiz. Musketeer gets that last shot in. Musketeer should fall to the Poison. There we go. And a naked Poison comes down for Pedro. Pedro knows a naked Poison, or excuse me, a naked Graveyard plus a Snowball can still get hits in. And there you go. 266 remains really, really close to spell cycle range. DiegoB doing everything that he can. Drops another Mega Minion at the river. Baby Dragon down low. Got to do something about these skeletons. There comes the Snowball. Now a Bar Barrel maybe comes down. No, E-Wiz instead. But with the Poison, that would do, or will do it. Pedro now coming back, fighting back. 2-2-1. Let's see if DiegoB decides to ban a card or not. That was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, I'm so excited to start streaming again next week. I have like FOMO of playing on stream while I'm doing this, because it's like 5 hours, 6 hours of just watching people play, and then I'm like, I wanna play. So here we go. Pedro starts off with minor bats. Could be that Valkyrie Magic Archer deck, could also be a bunch of other decks. So on the other side of it, DiegoB drops his own Magic Archer and a Baby Dragon. Could be some Elixir Golem, but let's hope not, because we all hate Elixir Golem. But Graveyard's not in play, so, you know, those are the win conditions. 2 most popular, I should say. So, Bomb Tower off to the right, all by itself. There's the Elixir Golem. We knew it was going to come. And Night Witch right behind. Maybe if the Night Witch stays alive, Night Witch does not stay alive, so now bats will get taken out by those Spirit Guys. I was going to say, if the Night Witch stays alive, this could be a good position for DiegoB to be in. However, right now, not a good position to be in. That Bomb Tower off to the right, wasted Elixir, now feeding his opponent Elixir with that Elixir Golem that is unsupported. So Pedro in a very good spot, right now at least, to tie things up. And a nice Magic Archer there, gets a couple shots in, but you know, 4 Elixir to get 2 hits, and now a bit of a counter push comes in from Pedro. And this deck was made popular by Morton, I believe, 2 days ago, and then we've seen a handful of people play it since, and I've been playing it on challenges. It's been a really, really fun deck to play. It's a really quick cycle. You get a lot of bait aspects there. Obviously, the Prince is so tanky, and you still get those dirty, dirty Magic Archer piercing shots in. So if you guys like Prince minor poison control decks, try this out. So nice high Baby Dragon there, going to take out the first little set of the bats, so Baby Dragon will stay alive. Take out the miner, take out the rest of the bats, but DiegoB now in a position where I think, you know, we'll see how this exchange goes and whether it fares well for him or not, but I almost feel like maybe one more push from Pedro on the left-hand side you defend before just selling out on the right if you're not breaking through. But it does look like he might be breaking through right now. Blobs are on the building, or blobs are on the Princess Tower. Earthquake here on top of this bomb tower to catch that second Elixir Golem. We've seen that so many times. Your opponent gets so distracted, not even distracted, but they're just so busy taking care of all the wave, all the units from the first wave of your Elixir Golem push, whether it's the remaining health of the Baby Dragon, where it's cleaning up all those bats from the Night Witch. that almost every single time you see the person that is playing Elixir Golem able to put down a second Elixir Golem. So Pedro does get that poison in just in time, but doesn't matter because the Magic Archer does get a piercing shot through, and now we find ourselves in a 2-tower game with what feels like an advantage for DiegoB, but we'll see how he's able to manage these cheap pushes. And nice Magic Archer there from Pedro. Lines that right up, gets a ton of damage in on the tower, and that's the name of the game. It's obviously been chipped the entire time, but every little bit counts, especially when playing against Elixir Golem, and you've got to make your opponents spend Elixir defensively so they can't just double down on offense, which is exactly what Diego's going to try to do right now. Baby Dragon tanking for all of those bats. What is that, 7, 8 bats on the board? Now Blob's taking for the bats as well. Get one more hit in, but Pedro's still off to a nice lead here. A great bomb tower pickup there from DiegoB. Now, and recognize where he put it. He put it in the safe spot to catch the miner, but also in a spot where the Magic Archer couldn't be played up high and in the pocket like it just did last series, and was able to give those piercing shots to DiegoB. So 60 seconds remaining right now, and Pedro still in a very, very good position to just walk away with this one. Diego not able to break through, but still he has to commit on defense. He has to continue to put all this Elixir down on defense, and now 2 Princes on his side of the map and a miner to the back. It feels like Pedro will walk away with this one. Yes, he will. Magic Archer still on the tower, now just a poison away. There's the poison, that's going to do it. Nice, nice. All right, what do you guys think? Here we go. Game number 5. Sure, yeah. I know, me and technology, we're not the best of friends. We're not the best of friends, but I'm getting there. I'm figuring it out. So, P.E.K.K.A in the back. No Skellies, no Bandit to stop this. No Zap either. So a really, really nice push there from Diego, excuse me, from Pedro on Diego, recognizing what deck Diego was playing and what he had already cycled. He'd already cycled his Zap, his Skeletons, and his Bandits. So what is he going to have for, you know, a Swarm push plus a tank? Ewiz, that's it, or Poison probably, and you do not want to poison a Prince coming in with Spear Goblin. So a really, really nice first uppercut haymaker from Pedro on Diego in Game 5. So a Ram Rider coming out. Does connect on the right-hand side, but obviously does not do a lot of damage to that Prince and leaves a big, big Elixir gap here. Really, really nice Barb Barrel there coming in from Pedro, anticipating those Skellies. Diego dropped those Skellies just low enough so he didn't have to worry about the Barb Barrel. Ended up able to clean that up pretty easily. Bandit breaks on through. Baby Dragon on the tower. Ewiz behind to support, and that is a massive chunk taken out. DiegoB screams into the lead. It does feel like Diego should have the matchup here. He should be able to catch those miners. He should be able to keep up enough pressure on the board. And he's also got great ways to stop this Prince. So now Pedro's selling out in the middle. You can see exactly why he misses the pull, though. You can't miss the pull if you want to win, and he misses the pull on the Prince there. Now the Bandit dashing over, but Miner breaks on through, tanking for that Prince. Prince not picked up by the Bandit, and a couple of mental mistakes there now puts DiegoB still in the lead, but hurting for Elixir that he could have used here on offense. Got to make sure he misses. Yeah, he doesn't miss the pull this time. 100% does not, but that Prince is still alive. The Bandit is not going to be able to take it out in time. So Ram Rider comes down this time, does not miss the pull, and charging right on through to the tower. Bandit will help clean up this Magic Archer. Baby Dragon also to support. Nice Bandit dash there to clean up the bomb tower, and now Diego goes P.E.K.K.A right on top of his Princess, looking to catch a miner that may come in. How is he going to stop the Prince in the opposite lane? Well, with an Ewiz, and now maybe going to try to support this Ewiz with a Ram Rider if it stays alive. Does not. Prince takes it off the board. Bandit dashes through. Miner picked up by the Skellies. Ram Rider there to keep the aggro. DiegoB trying to stay alive. Only 273 HP remaining, and it does feel like Pedro is going to take this with the reverse sweep. Reverse sweep? Is it a reverse sweep? I think so. Lightning comes down, Baby Dragon on the tower, but a lot of elixir spent for not a whole lot of damage, and it just feels like there's no way to stop these bats plus the miner. Zap comes in, he does catch the miner, so that is not going to be towered down just yet. Oh man. Ram Rider opposite lane. Skelly's to catch the barb. Miner going to come in very, very soon. Or the poison. There's the poison. No miner necessary. That's going to be good game. That is an incredible, incredible Bo5. Wow. Wow. That